Full court press coming back. Got my boy Christian, like always. Say what's up to the people.
How we doing, everybody?
Uh, I'm Scott, doing well. Appreciate you. All right, so we got so much to talk about, man. The playoffs are here; they're upon us. We've
They
been
are.
waiting all year. I think we've been ready since about before the All Star break, even. Um, we finally get to see some real physicality in these series.
Some defense get played for a lot of, for the first time this year on every
Some
possession. Just you see who really wants it out there.
100%. Some of my favorite things that come with the playoffs is the coaching adjustments and lineup
Ooh,
flexibility that you don't see in the regular season. And what I love about this postseason so far, early on, we already have some changes being made, some not. But last year, it felt like everyone was taking 10 years to make adjustments. Seems like people are kind of delving into this stuff quick. I want to start in the West, and we can start with the game tonight. New Orleans take it tying the series 1-1 with Phoenix. I gotta be honest, I was not expecting this at all. I thought Phoenix was gonna run through them. Of course, Booker goes down, but what a game for if you're a Pelicans fan. You know, this is a lot of promise. You're still trying to sell Zion on your future. This can only help.
that boy gone. Let me just interrupt real quick. Zion gone. Zion ain't staying in the Smoothie King arena. It ain't happening.
I mean, he's doing 360 dunks, dude. He's ready.
We actually do need to discuss that. We need to discuss that. Real, what's going on with that, Scott? This man can't play. If I'm a Pelicans fan, I'm like, if this fool can go off the backboard between the leg 360 windmill, how are you not able to play the fucking game?
I don't know, but if I'm a Pelicans fan, Zion, I know you could do that, man. Let's see some jump shots.
Bro, first of all, he looked heavy.
He still looks heavy. That's 100% correct. He still
No,
looks
he
heavy.
looks huge, bro. This man got no business jumping on with that body, bro. They need to go somewhere and he needs to take his bro. I'm not gonna lie. That was the first time I got really disappointed.
I don't know. Right now, he looks like Daniel Cormier out there, and he's just doing these 360 dunks. And I'm like, what's happening? Like, I don't
What are
know.
we like, bro? Like,
I
I
think
want to
New
see you
Orleans
out
just doesn't
there.
want to play, bro. That's the only thing I can think is that the organization is like, hey, like we made it this far, like it's been great, but we're gearing for next season. Zion, we've seen these guys go down like after their injuries, like they're scared of the KD thing. They're like, all right, just don't even worry about coming back.
But if he's good enough to be dunking, then he's in good enough shape to go work out and lose some weight. You can hop on a
Well,
treadmill.
yeah, and not only that, but we got video of him playing 1-on-1 and he's just dominating. And you're like,
He's
all right,
dominating.
like
I'm like, so if it's not the weight thing, if this is him in shape, if they're okay with him doing physical activity at that weight, then why isn't he playing?
yeah, it was crazy. Like it was just it's been weird how it's been handled. I feel like New Orleans has been lying to us about it. The whole thing. Zion, he hasn't really said much. You know, he's had these videos surface and stuff like that. Like after the 101, Willie Green came out and was like, yeah, yeah, he's been playing 101 lately. That's like we just learned that pretty much. So he's been working out in Portland away from the team, like, and then he comes back, and I don't know. I just feel like they should just be straight out honest with us. I feel like there's just way too many smoke and mirrors on what's been happening. Like, it's weird. It's weird. And I don't see the reason or the intent for like the purpose.
It's wild because they got some pieces, and I'm not gonna lie, they get Zion out there, they can make some noise in this playoffs. Because Golden State, none of these teams have a guy that can do anything with Zion.
Mm-hmm.
He's just so physically imposing. He can just go through your front line. He would terrorize some of these lineups. Like Golden State, yeah, you're gonna have to fix this lineup because this ain't gonna work for Zion. This ain't gonna work.
Well, it'd be really interesting, especially like when you see tonight, they're just pick up the pace and you're getting Jackson Hayes on, outlet dunks. Like imagine if that's Zion and how his ability to run the floor and his ability to pass as well. Like so now all
Oh
of a sudden
my
you're thrown ahead
goodness.
and he's able to find cutters like on these fast breaks. Like it's interesting. I was talking earlier about these coaches making adjustments. Game one, like Phoenix is a team that's like, hey, we will go possession with you all the way down the stretch, and we like our chances. But New Orleans was like, yeah, we don't want to do that. Willie Green, kudos to you, man, for like really picking up the pace and forcing this game to be like, all right, we're gonna run. Like we're not gonna try to play possession with them.
Because they're
We're
too
gonna
good defensively. Phoenix is
yeah,
way
we're
too
not
good
gonna let you get
defensively.
set.
No.
So goodbye, Willie Green right there. Brandon Ingram, man.
Whew.
Go ahead and give Ingram some love here because he was looked calm, cool, collected, played through some injury. He was the blue chip prospect in that AD trade, and you look back at even that draft class, and you're like, man, like Simmons, who knows what's happening with him? Bi looks like he's kind of taking a real stranglehold of that position, the best player out of that draft.
Absolutely. If you're a Laker fan, you gotta love what you saw tonight from Bi. Because I know we hold our little Lakers deeply in our heart, and Bi is definitely that guy. He just took over, and we've talked off camera, you and I, Scott, and I've raved about this guy for years. Like Brandon Ingram is special. He's a star. He's been in some really shitty situations, but I've been telling you, I'm like, let that man get into a situation. The world's gonna have to see him on the biggest stage, and that's the playoffs. This is his first playoffs of his career, and he's showing out right now. Like he made an adjustment in that first game. He was getting trapped. He was making slower decisions. Like you saw him come out along with Willie Green. He had them boys ready to come and play. Brandon Ingram had a completely different mindset. Like he was torching them. I didn't see him celebrate. I didn't see him showboat not one time. I mean, I love that shit typically, but you can just tell Bi was like, no, 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 no. This is a moment for me. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a moment. Like I'm gonna etch my name here. Superstars are made in the regular season, but legends are made in the playoffs. And tonight was a legendary performance.
For Phoenix, game one, it really came down to Chris Paul at the end of the game being like, man, we're not going to lose this game, right? Where he scored. What you gave me the stats earlier. It was like
He
he
scored
scored like
19 of their 21 or so, through a stretch at one point.
yeah, no, he exploded in the fourth quarter. In this game, and coming into this, you kind of were on this all year about them, and you're like, hey, I don't think this team could stay healthy, pretty much, and that's going to be their downfall. The crazy thing is, I think we are all expecting to be Paul, but not even four halves into the playoffs, it's Devin Booker going down with this hamstring. I'm really interested to see what comes out of that tomorrow, because if he's out for an extended period of time, like I still feel like they could get out of the series, but round two gets a little more interesting at that point.
Oh, I don't. I don't think they can get out the series, by the way. Let me be very honest. They lose Booker, they're losing the series.
So you would take really?
Absolutely.
Is it just because they don't have that scoring option at the wing? Like because I
It's
understand
it's it
how impressive Booker is and like how much he means to that team, but I just think
nah, nah, nah. Because
Chris Paul, Aiton.
at this point, Cam Johnson, the little 10 points you contribute, that ain't gonna cut it no more, fam. I need more. Campaign, that little 8 points you come in and 6 minutes, that ain't gonna cut it. I need 14 tonight. Like you start going deep. Jay Crowder, that inconsistent shot, but we still keeping the lineups because everyone else is popping off. No, no, no. You gotta hit shots. You gotta hit shots, Jay Crowder. Everybody at that point on the wing, bro, you gotta step up. You gotta step up because I can look to the other side of the floor. CJ McCollum, been there, done that. He can go off and get you 30. He can go and get you 40. Brandon Ingram, he that guy. He can go get you 30 or 40. So I already got 70 points accounted for on a given night if I'm the Pelicans. If I'm Phoenix, Chris Paul's gonna give me 20. DeAndre might give me 20.
I think
I
Mikal
need
Bridges could step
production
up. I think he could give you 20. I think
on a nightly
consistently.
basis, consistently, like just on the drop of the hat.
I think so.
You would pencil him in for that. No,
If
because he's
if
never
Booker's
been
not getting the touches, I think he could. I think he's got the capability to do it. And I hear you. Yeah, I'm not bank. I hear you. You can't bank on it necessarily, but
You
I
can't
just
bank on it, man.
because New Orleans is still a 9 seed, bro, and it's not just like I get it. CJ McCollum's a little different, you know what I mean? And if they keep the pace up, it does make them interesting. because now you're not really worried about defensive stuff as much. Like we saw them in the half court game one, right? Like they could score, but they're going to give up just as many points, if and mostly more. But if you're speeding it up and now the other team like can't keep up with you and you're just it's a shootout.
Are
I
you
think
aware
it
how many minutes Chris Paul is going to have to play? It's not. It's cute when he plays 32 minutes a night because they're so deep and everybody got that ball moving. Devin Booker is out for an extended period of time. That's a lot more weight on Chris Paul, fam. Like that's a lot more weight for him to put on his shoulders. I wouldn't be surprised if they won. Honestly, I would be pretty surprised. I don't think Chris Paul would stay healthy enough to finish this series out in the first place. I would be very surprised. Right now, as it stands, 1-1, I'd be shocked if Booker is gone for the rest of the series and New Orleans is perfectly healthy. I would be shocked if New Orleans lost this series. I would be shocked.
I can't see it, man. I think I would have faith in Chris Paul. I'm a bank in Chris Paul getting it
Chris
through.
Paul is who you gonna bank on?
Yeah, I would. He's Chris Paul's astounding, dude. He'll get a good shot every time down. And after seeing the fourth quarter he did in game one, like
with
there's
Booker
nobody.
On the floor?
Yeah, I understand, but there's nobody on New Orleans that's like, man, he like if what unless what's New Orleans gonna do? They're gonna throw Herb Jones on him because CJ McCollum's not gonna stop him. Like Alvarado's not gonna stop him. I don't know.
We might have
I
to
would
put
trust
something on that series. We might have to put something on that series. I'm about to take you to the cleaners. You might even give me some Olive Garden.
some OG.
We might have to put some OG on this one. I might take some of that action because I don't see it.
Hey, I just hope you're ready, all right? Because I'm going chicken and shrimp carbonara. Okay. So like you better be ready. With the cap, okay?
I'm looking to see what that MRI say tomorrow. I'm ready for this. But X-rays, what they say. We gonna put something on this one right here. We gonna put something on it for sure.
Yesterday, we also had a pretty fun game. At least for me, it was fun. It's now, this is the last stand for the for the Utah Jazz as they give up 40 to Jalen Brunson and they drop it to the Luka-less Dallas Mavericks. So now it's a 1-1 series, and this is the second. How much did this look like the Terrence Mann game last year?
No,
it was like really spot
did.
on, like the same thing. This is 2 years in a row where Utah, like the only thing everybody's ever asked of them is figure out the small ball thing, and they still just have like I don't know.
That's not what it. That's not what it is.
Oh no! Educate me.
I'm gonna tell you. I told you this episodes earlier when we came out this year. I said I gotta pour one out for Quinn Snyder because what do you expect this man to do? He has to play Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert, for those of you at home, this man is on a super max contract. Rudy Gobert is going to make $200 million. He's making, is that 50 a year?
It's a lot.
He's making 50 million a year, basically. Quinn Snyder cannot make the necessary adjustment with this roster. With the roster he's giving out, you have to play him. So they took any type of coaching or adjustment that he could make. You took it out of his hands when you gave him $200 million. You completely took it out of Quinn Snyder because he guaranteed if this is year 2 Rudy Gobert, his ass is getting benched in those fourth quarters. His ass is getting benched. They're figuring out something else. They gave that man $200 million. You are not benching him. So even if you figure it out or you can spell for a quarter or two in the moments that matter most, the $50 million man will be on the floor.
I think he did a really great job of laying out the money aspect of this and why, one of the reasons Gobert is just like, it's tough to pay him that money because he's an absolute zero on offense, right? We saw in the game yesterday, I think at like a minute 38 or something, he has a point bank layup and he just botches it. And he doesn't touch the ball after that because they're like, dude, like, you're not going to do anything with it. So like, we're not giving it to you. But on defense, especially, they've built this roster, right? And the front office it's the same team as last year. They did a very porous job of addressing any kind of mobility.
Mm-mm.
Like, and the thing about the Gobert is like they value stopping the two over stopping the three. And they have nobody to stop people on the perimeter. So everyone's a layup line. And now Gobert's stuck with like, hey, I gotta leave the corner because we're giving up layups.
Exactly. And this is gonna make me look bad at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Gobert
but
don't care what threes they splashing, bro. He's like, not you're just not gonna come in my lane.
yeah, and so I can't. With that being said, like I think the front office did a really poorest job. I think Gobert's very limited as a player, and this is why in today's league, like I'm 10 out of 10 times suited. I don't care what the numbers say. Like I'm taking out a buyout, at that position defensively. I'm gonna take a Draymond Green defensively at that position. Like, and people are gonna be like, "Well, you're talking about the best of the best." I would take a Jaren Jackson, uh, at that position defensively because
Robert
at least
Williams.
Robert Williams. Because in today's league, dude, you cannot just be a one trick pony. And with Gobert,
No.
he has to play drop coverage, like and like with the people around him, right? I think it'd be interesting to see what he can do with like some guys that could play defense on the perimeter because they
Like
really
put him
don't
in
have
Miami.
anybody. Miami, Boston, put him next to Mikal Bridges. It'd be very interesting to see like, you know, what he could look like with that. But still, I can't totally absolve Quinn Snyder though, because at some point, bro, like can't we just have the guy guard the corner? You know what I mean? And you could say like, yeah, it's not winning basketball. You're gonna give up layups all day on dribble drive penetration. But like if Maxi Kleber's in 8 threes, dude, this is a guy Maxi Kleber shot 18% like down the
18%.
stretch.
And what is he
So
shooting like 88 or 86% right now?
yeah, but he's getting wide open looks. Like, can we just guard the corner and then like really ask like these other guys to at least make it tough? Like
Bro, this is he's stuck between a rock and a hard place, bro. Because at the end of the day, the better teams they face, they're gonna get cooked with Gobert on the floor. It's just I don't care where you put that man. The better teams that they're gonna see, bro, he's not gonna be able, and it just sucks. It's like this is like the business part of it, right? Like
mhm.
we know X's and O's. You know, you broke this down last year, Scott. We talked, and you was one of the first people out there that was saying Rudy Gobert is a fraud because he gets found out in the postseason. And this is a moment that at the end of the day, it's business. Same thing like we saw with maybe Vogel and Russ. Vogel not wanting to bench that player. There's
Yeah.
a lot of politics that involves in that. And if I'm Quinn Snyder, I basically just that's why we got to part ways because you guys have a vision and you guys are building a team that I already see the holes here.
Um, and you talked about like when they play better teams, their next matchup if they get out of the series, and I don't want to like leave the series quite yet, but if they get Golden State, dude, like that's the
Oh,
worst case
oh,
scenario for them.
Rudy Gobert might have to hide. He might have to go on
Yeah.
WITSEC. He might have to go on the witness protection program because he would be expose him. It would be bad.
Now, in full transparency, since we haven't had an episode since I told you I picked Dallas for the series in 7 games. I also had a caveat that was with Luka returning, right? I thought they needed Luka to get by him. But if they're just going to go full Clippers and and just go 5 out, I got to ask you, man, like, can they get out of this series with only like 3 games from Luka?
If there's a team you're going to do this on in the West, it would have to be the Utah Jazz. So I believe absolutely the Dallas Mavericks can get up out this series. They gonna get up, and man, you're gonna be calling on Jason Kidd with that offensive genes. I know his calling card is defense, but you about to see some magic, some majestic stuff out there because Kidd's gonna wild out with these lineups going forward. The lineups you're about to be watching Dallas pull out there, Kidd is about to be. He about to say, no. We got to fully. I'm a full send this shit right here. We gonna play 5 out legit, and it's hard because like that style you should be in maybe 8 minutes, maybe 12 minutes. You play that for 80% of the game, the odds are going to be in your favor. Because at the end of the day, Utah has the personnel that Utah has. There's only but so much personnel that they have. They can't do anything about that. You're going to get exposed eventually. And
Yeah.
Kidd is going to fully commit to it. Because if you could adjust to it, guess what? Utah would have already adjusted to it.
Yeah, like 2 years ago. yeah, this is the last stand. This is training day. Like
This is
Dallas is like, oh, I didn't know you like to get wet, and
no legit. You're
Utah's just
legit.
going through it right now.
Quinn Snyder's going through the you want to go to jail, you want to go home when it comes to playing. When it comes to playing Rudy Gobert, man, because he can't. He gotta play him, but he knows he can't. It's funny, real quick, Scott. I wonder, what do you think Quinn Snyder thought when Gobert signed that deal? What do you think he thought? Do you think Quinn would have paid that money to Gobert? Because a
Yeah,
coach is going to know a player's limitations. A
I don't know.
coach knows good and well that this dude, we don't post him up at all. Like, as a coach, you got to know there's no way you're paying this man $200 million.
I think it's weird because when you talk about the business side of it, right? And
Yeah.
NBA coaches, this is not a shelf life that is, lengthy. So if
No.
you it's actually a win for Quinn Snyder that his guy got paid because it kind of extends his career as well. And if that makes sense, because I don't know. It's too many of these guys, if your players don't develop, like he could now go into negotiations and be like, well, I coached this scheme that was like second in defense and, blah, blah, blah. And like, I got my guy defensive player of the year, and going to the
I'll put it
table.
like this then. I'll put it
Nice.
like this then. You think if Quinn Snyder was in the front office, he would have paid him that money. After the knowledge that he has of that player, as what he's seen, do you think Quinn Snyder, if he was in management, would have paid that money to Gobert?
Listen, Quinn Snyder is much smarter than me, and I wouldn't pay that guy. So he shouldn't either.
He shouldn't either. I was like, man, good for Rudy Gobert though. Get your money.
I need to make correction. Golden State would not play Utah. It would be the winner of Phoenix, no one's. But moving on, Golden State. Are you drinking the juice, man? Because I might be drinking the juice. All right.
Scotty switch up. Guys, this man's gonna leapfrog. We're gonna call Scott leapfrog.
No, I'm not ready.
One game and he be hopping the line, man.
Because I think you made on the phone, you made a great point about like, hey, this isn't like the best litmus test, for Golden State, because Denver probably is honestly like the worst team in the playoffs right now.
Denver is as bad as Golden State looks dominant.
With as respectfully as I can be to Joker, like he's got nothing. Like 2 through 12, they're New Orleans is a better team than Denver. I don't know though. Like Golden State right now, they have some ridiculous numbers, dude. And like that lineup that they rolled out, there's some weird, whatever you want to call it. Somebody called it PTSD. Like, I don't know why we don't just stick with the Splash Brothers. Like, we got a new baby. You know what I mean? Like, there's a third member now. There's a third brother. But yeah, dude, they have like this weird stat for their 7 minutes together. It's they're at some per 100 possessions like 200 points or something like that.
No, their offensive rating is like 123.8. It's insane. They're breaking the analytics right now. That 5 is breaking the analytics because I'm like, some of these stats don't make sense. I'm like, I think they just broke your own like system here, but no,
they're making Steph like a plus minus machine, dude.
Steph dropped 34 points off the bench in 23 minutes. What am I supposed to do with that? The disrespect, by the way, that Steve Kerr is showing Mike Malone and the Denver Nuggets is comical. The fact that they're just fucking around, like, we're going to bring our best player off the bench. That's what we think of you. That's what we think of you. They're literally having like a preseason. This is a training camp for the Warriors right now. This is embarrassing that they feel like they can bring Steph off the bench. This is just comical. It's I love it though. I'm super petty, so I love shit like this. But Steve Kerr's you wilding right now, bringing Steph off the bench.
Yeah, it's just asking a lot because Joker's really being frustrated right now by Draymond Green defense, who looks like he looks like the best defender in the world. Like playoff Draymond's the thing. Because he was really great and he was defensive player of the year easily, right, in that first half of the season. Then he goes down and he kind of loses that conversation. But and coming to the playoffs, you're like, man, like this is he looks like that dude on that side of the ball. Because Jokic is there's no stopping Jokic, but he's making it uncomfortable where he's getting ejected because he's
No,
got to deal with Draymond. Like
it's awkward, and let's just be real. If you've watched the games, I mean, Doris Burke was talking about it. They're not giving Jokic any calls. They're fouling Jokic basically. Like tonight, I saw his jersey. I mean, the other night, I saw his jersey just get yanked coming off of a curl, and the ref is standing right there. Jokic catches it, dives, layup, and looks at the ref like you didn't just see him grab my jersey. Doris Burke went off on the refs and was like, "That's a foul. That's a foul." They're watching a replay, and he finally puts the ball in, and she's like, "That's an and one." Like these refs are making it really difficult on Jokic. So to your point, Jokic is having a tough go at it right
it is tough, and I'm ready for this stupid narrative that's going to happen, right? Where if he wins the MVP, like, oh, we look stupid because he got bounced. Like, people, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going around. There's a lot of Jokic hate, low key, from some of these guys in the media, and I'm just not here for it. Will Bond, Stephen A, and it's so stupid because they start attacking like the number people, right? Like, oh, you keep bringing up these made up stats that never mattered for Jokic, and but what they don't realize is, hey, guess who's second on that list? It's your guy that you're voting for. It's Embiid. So by you poo-pooing all those stats, you're just kind of poo-pooing your own argument too. So what are we doing here? Like Jokic was the best player this season. He was the most valuable player. Down two max guys to get them in the 6 seeds. Very impressive, but they're just outmatched in this series. Golden State's Jordan Poole looks like the best player. Is that Jordan Poole or Michael Jordan? I don't know.
Hey, it's a pool party is what it is. It's a pool party, apparently.
Yeah, dude. Like Klay Thompson, he's gonna have the quickest release till he's like 70 years old. Steph's coming in now comfortable. Draymond's dissecting them, and I don't know. Yeah, I think this one's gonna be ending quickly.
Yeah, no, I think this is a sweep. I think this series is over. As far as I'm concerned, they would be playing. Not to just bypass the series. No, I'm gonna bypass it. When the Warriors
Well, yeah.
to the
So
round, they would face Memphis.
So you're going Memphis in this next round. Tonight we saw Memphis kind of rebound from game one, right? Game one. I want to start game one actually in this series because there was something that I think happened. There was a moment in time in game one that has to be acknowledged, and that is the emergence of Anthony Edwards, the official coming out party for this kid who, man, you've been on an early, but he looks like he's the real deal. His size, his physicality, his mentality. This kid wants to win. Minnesota, you guys, no matter what happens, you guys need to be excited because you might have got yourself one of them.
No, lightning struck with Anthony Edwards. I think LaMelo's going to have a fine career. I'm only mentioning them in the same breath because for you, that people that don't know, they're from the same draft class, and LaMelo won Rookie of the Year. But looking at the evolution of Anthony Edwards already, his body looks completely different from last year. We thought he came in as a rookie yoked. To look at his body now at 20 years old, 21 years old, like he's a monster. And for those that don't know, he played college football, so he's a football player. Like you can see the confidence. A monster was created, I'll say this, in the playing game when Karl-Anthony Towns had foul trouble against the Clippers, and Anthony Edwards just put them on his back, and he finished the game with Towns on the bench, and Pat Bev was in his ear saying, "You're that guy, you're that guy." And Anthony Edwards since then has not looked back.
Yeah, I think we had to leave at that because I think that is going to be the biggest revelation out of the series, right? It is a 2-7 matchup. I thought it'd be pretty competitive. I think Minnesota does some things that, bodes well for Memphis, but I think you've been on it. Minnesota is the undisciplined team, and that's a team that, like Memphis, who relies on turnovers, fast break points, offensive rebounds. They're going to feast on the team. And sticking with the Minnesota side of things, on one side where I'm praising this man, Anthony Edwards, I got to ask, man, what's going on with your boy Cat? Because you mentioned the foul trouble in the play-in game. He bounces back game one, right? He looks dominant. He's hitting shots. He's getting to the lane, dunking on Jaren Jackson's head. But then again, you see game two, he's in foul trouble for the half, and some of it's kind of like, what are we doing here, man? Like, we got to get your head in the game.
That's exactly what it is. His head's not in the game. He's got all the tools to be a monster. I thought some of the calls tonight was a little unfair. I don't know. It kind of looked like to me the refs were just gonna give Memphis a mulligan and be like, all right, yeah, we
Mm.
did screw you with Jaren Jackson in game one with his foul trouble. We're just gonna basically even it out. That's really what it looked like tonight because the real story in both of these games, like Jaw popped off tonight, he's the star tonight. Anthony Edwards was the star in game one. But maybe the two stories right beneath that is Jaren Jackson Jr. couldn't play in game one really because of his foul trouble. And tonight was another thing of the same. Karl-Anthony Towns kept getting in foul trouble. So it's weird because we've seen two games already and we're not even getting, we still have yet to see an actual game from these two. And it's weird. I'm interested to see how the momentum and everything will shift heading up to Minnesota.
It is because I don't know. Game one, it seemed like there was just no flow. You know, I mean, there was I think 70 free throws in that game, which is insane.
It
That's a
was tacky.
ridiculous number. Yeah,
Memphis
it
had like
was.
25 more free throws than Minnesota.
Yeah, it was, and yeah, you still lose, which is weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jaw got to the line, I think, like 20 times that game, which, and what the crazy thing about Jaw is, like, unlike a Harden or Embiid or even like a Durant at times who gets to the line a lot, his, like, he earns every single one of these free throws. It's
Oh,
like,
I'm glad. Oh, we see this different. He's a free throw merchant.
oh, it really okay. Because
He's a
I'm
free
like,
throw
his
merchant.
relentlessness, he put so much pressure on the defense that it's kind of like, what
Nah, he puts pressure on the refs. Refs clearly like seeing little men get thrown around. Like they view it so differently. He doesn't get touched on a lot of these, and he just leaves. Just because a dude is 45 inches in the air does not mean he's getting fouled. Just because he's jumping high does not mean he's getting fouled. We got to stop this because these guards that jump up, bro, I'm like, let him jump, bro. He's not getting hit. Like it's just weird because game one I thought was ridiculous. I thought he got 10 free throws he did not deserve, like off rip, because they would have won those games. Like he wasn't really effective and he was getting bailed out. I was surprised when Anthony Edwards snatched him out the air and caught all ball. I was shocked they didn't call that a foul because usually he gets that call. But if you see on the replay, Anthony Edwards got an all ball. So it's just interesting. That's why I want to see what is this series going to look like in Minnesota. I want to see what happens with that.
I think again with my reference to the coaching adjustments, that we've seen early in the series,
Mm-hmm.
Memphis might have struck gold, dude, when they are already kind of telling Adams like, "Hey, man, this might not be your series," because now, you kind of do match up with Cat Load better with the athleticism aspect of it, and you're going to be able to run with them and really capitalize on those turnovers and stuff like that. So, and they haven't done it too much yet, but when you throw Jaren Jackson the 5 and he's in threes, like, it's tough to guard, dude, because Jaw's going to get penetration. Bane's hitting shots. If Jackson's hitting shots, they're a menace to deal with. Going into the East, though, the East I feel like is a little more. I feel like directions of these series are kind of more defined. Where on the West, like a lot more ties so far. Starting with the 1 seed versus the 8 seed, Miami, Atlanta. Tonight we saw another Miami win. Jimmy Butler looked dominant, getting dunks every other play. Trey, even in the game where Trey looked a little better, Bogdan had a bounce back game. Still not able to get it done against the Heat culture.
No, it's a real thing. I'm looking at this series and I'm like, ugh.
It looks like it's ending quick, right?
You know what? Fuck it. Miami loses the next two games.
2-2 series.
We're gonna
What?
we're gonna come back to the American Airline. Oh no, FTX Arena. Apparently, they changed their arena name. The Miami Heat did. I think they're gonna come back
Yeah.
in game 5 and win. And I think Miami will go up 3-2 and finish them out. in Atlanta, and they'll have to win a game on the road. So I think I got Miami in 6.
This is a tough series for Atlanta. I to me it looks like it's ended quick because I'm looking at this defensive matchup and like Trae Young, it's just got he's got to solve a lot of questions and make a lot of adjustments and quick. Of course, he was a little better tonight, but when you're going up against Miami, there's just so much perimeter defense on that team because even in their 5-man, Bam Adebayo, he's when he played, he was probably the second best defensive player in the league besides Draymond at the time and Giannis maybe, but he's at his ability at the 5 to step out, and then you couple that with you're switching on with Butler, Lowry, PJ Tucker. There's just a lot of pressure that they put on you, and I don't know. It's a tough one for Trae Young to solve. Like he's got to subscribe to Rosetta Stone or something because it looks like he's learning a new language.
Bro, you're on a roll tonight, man. You're on a roll. We gotta add sound effects to this production. No, it's Nate McMillan is gonna have to make some adjustments.
Yes.
The problem is he can make adjustments so the cows come home. He's going to have to hope for some injury luck on Miami side because they're gonna go home. They're gonna go home. You're gonna have to get lucky. You're gonna either have to have an ejection by Butler or something. You're gonna need something fluky to take place in Atlanta, which I believe, and I'm gonna predict the tide's gonna change at least for game 3. I believe the tide is going to change in that game specifically, and I believe they're going to catch a break.
All right, well, you heard it here first.
No, for real.
Trae Young going to make another magical run. Moving on to the 4-5 matchup. Another one that kind of, to me, looks like it's going quick, and it's crazy because coming into it, I thought Toronto would have a little better of a chance going up against Philly. I was kind of scared about that Embiid matchup, but what I didn't account for is injuries. And Toronto, out of all teams, they could least afford to lose guys because we saw since pretty much January, they were playing 6 guys 40 minutes plus a night and just like, hey, these are our guys, this is who we're going to play. So now you lose Barnes, you lose Thaddeus Young and
Trent Jr.
Gary Trent Jr., who I don't know what happened to that guy even before he got hurt, but geez, like now you lose the body too. They're in deep water here because Tyrese Maxey's going off on them.
No Tyrese Maxey looking all world.
Tyrese Maxey's scoring like it's crazy because when you watch Philly play, right?
They're very boring, by the way. They're very boring to watch. They are so bad to watch. Oh my God.
Except for Maxey. And this was going to be my point, dude. Like they're so slow, right? Harden he's a big fat guy who's going to dribble. And then you got Embiid who's like, Embiid's kind of, he's got some wheels on him. We saw it live. Like that guy. He's a specimen. But they're
big man wheels though. Like an Escalade can still go 0 to 60, but it's not a Porsche though. Like it's not.
No, that's a real thing. That's a real thing. And then you got Tobias Harris camping out in the middle, out on the corner.
This man's a liability offensively.
You got Danny Green looking like his feet hurt when he's running on the floor.
Bro, he's so bow-legged, it's crazy.
They're slow. But then you had Tyrese Maxey out there, just the fastest guy out in the court. And he's just the polar opposite of everybody else on that squad. And he's going off. And Toronto they don't have bodies, dude. They don't have any answers for that team.
Well, Philadelphia is not about to have a body because they're not going to have Matisse Thybulle for games 3 and 4 in Toronto.
Yeah, that is a big factor. I think, but
no, not really, bro. This series
is so tough because Scotty Barnes isn't playing.
So is he out for the playoffs?
I don't know how long he's out, but like I'm pretty sure he's gonna miss the next game as well. Like
this series is over.
It didn't look good, dude.
This series is absolutely over. This is a dud of a season of a series.
Yeah, it's disappointing. Because Toronto was like that mid-major team that kind of made it to like the Sweet 16, and then everyone's kind of buying their stock, and then they go play North Carolina and just get like, oh shit, like what are we
Bro,
thinking?
what? The disrespect on Toronto. They got injuries and you're just shitting on them. Bro, they got an NBA championship, bro. You need to chill. Oh
No, I
man,
know, I know, but I'm just
you
saying,
rip
like,
Toronto right now,
for
bro.
this
You straight
season,
to the
dude, just for this
mid-major,
season.
bro, and goes to North Carolina. Bro, they got injuries, fam. They got injuries. Oh, that's hilarious. I didn't expect the Toronto slander. That was hilarious.
I just meant for this season, man. Like
Oh,
they were out of
they
nowhere.
play North Carolina. It's because if you guys have ever watched college basketball, those games get ugly. When those majors go see like an elite team, they get their shit pushed back. The score is like 111 to like 63.
Like a
So
like a
bad.
like a Florida Gulf Coast, you know what I mean? Like,
Syracuse gonna be like, bring that ass over here, bro. It's bad. It's like really bad.
um the next matchup in the East we have is Milwaukee, Chicago. 1-0 lead for Milwaukee. They play again tomorrow. Um we saw playoff DeMar DeRozan come back, and that's not doing good for Chicago,
25.
dude. Oh,
6 of 25, but he said he likes their chances in game 2. And they was like, why, DeMar? He's like, because I ain't shooting 6 for 25 again.
yeah.
So if you're a Bulls fan, you gotta love that attitude. Because they had a shot to win that game. And if your best player goes 6 to 25 from the field, you gotta feel pretty good about your chances.
Yeah, but you can't like the attitude the guy across the hall and Giannis, right? Like,
Oh well, no, you didn't like that as soon as they got that 3 seed. You was like, fuck. They're done, bro. They're cooked. They might get I'll give DeMar a game. I don't know. It depends on what Giannis be getting, because
I
Giannis be
can't do
coming
it.
out talking spicy. Giannis be like, we didn't want to come out here. We didn't want to play with our food. And like, if he comes out there where I don't want to play with my food mentality, Giannis is getting beat, guys. I got news for you. You're not beating the Bucks if Giannis is in the I'm not gonna play in my food mindset. So if he goes out there in game 2, which I believe Pfizer Forum is gonna be packed, I don't think he's gonna play with their food. I think they blow Chicago out.
Yeah, so then this is what I was saying from the top is like I feel like the East is just much more defined in this first round. You know what I mean? I feel like we know what's gonna happen. And this is just another series where it's kind of the same way. It's like, all right, it's a matter of time before we're Milwaukee's watching tape on Boston and Brooklyn, who probably had the best game of the playoffs so far, game 1. Tatum with the incredible buzzer beater off the presence of mind for Marcus Smart to pump fake and hit the cutter. Incredible game. We saw Kyrie Irving go off. They're playing again tomorrow. What I want to ask you is like, how do you see this series shaping up for the rest of it?
I do have Boston winning this series. I have Boston in 5.
Mm.
I don't know, man. It really. I'll say this. Shout out to Marcus Smart. He won the Defensive Player of the Year. That's gonna help them with the reps because of reputation. So if you're Kevin Durant, you can't like that. If you're Kyrie Irving, you got to be pretty upset about that, because I told you, Scott, I saw game 1. They were mad physical. They were putting hands and feet in their asses, and it's gonna be real interesting
It
to
was
see.
beautiful, dude.
Oh my God, I don't think KD's ever seen coverage like that before. I know Steve Nash said they play like a junk defense, describing the Celtics defense, how it's something like, I get it. They literally just this junk. They're just throwing bodies at KD. Like I saw when he would cross the paint, he'd have to get touched up. Somebody's touching him. You don't leave. They would leave the middle of the court open, and if it was miscommunication, and one would tail off with Durant, I'll give up the layup. Like it is. He comes in here. They're basically playing a zone around KD, and KD came out and said they sped me up. I felt rushed. The book is out on KD. I mean, the book's been out that if you force him left, he's a turnover machine. He has to pull up and he's gonna try and elevate over you. And Boston knows this. And were you aware that Ime Udoka was on the Nets sideline?
I wasn't actually, no. I
Yeah,
thought
so
he
he's a
was
former.
I thought he was the San Antonio guy.
No, not straight from last year though.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, man, and there's that clip of them going around in Team USA when they won the gold this year, talking about, like the series of the Nets beating the Celtics and whatnot. But I'm looking at Ime Udoka, and man, defensively, he got them boys ready.
Well, with the Udoka part of that though, game one, dude, they had in the bag, and then they just left Tatum out there alone, and Brooklyn had Kyrie going off, and it got ugly for a second. I gotta be honest, I was surprised Boston pulled it out, and I picked Boston 5 as well. But game one, the way that game was coming down the stretch, I thought for sure Brooklyn was gonna get that win.
I think Ime Udoka learned a very he learned a lesson. I'll put it like that because in that third with that lead, the whole situation screwed up because Marcus Smart in the third quarter took a charge on KD on baseline. It was a blown call, and they called it on Marcus Smart, which is a problem because that was his fourth foul. And I thought it was clear. I thought it was obvious. I don't know what's going on with that assistant coaching staff, but they failed Ime because I don't know what they saw in the replay, but you can't let your best defender get 4 fouls if it's a blown call. You can't let
Mhm.
that happen. And when Smart came out and the natural substitution patterns, Jaylen Brown went and took a seat. You literally had like a 4.5 minute stretch, 3.5 to 4 minute stretch of Jason Tatum out there as the lone scoring option going against just Kyrie Irving, basically. And there was a possession where I would have called timeout. I was out watching the game, and Derek White has the ball at the top of the key. He's got Jason Tatum on the wing. He passes it to Tatum. Tatum gets the ball, gets double teamed. He looks at Derek White wide open at the top of the key. And Jason Tatum said, nah, with like 3-2-1, hoist up a 30-foot jumper. And if I'm Ime Udoka, I got to call a timeout because my best player on my team looked off a dude. That
Mhm.
means right now, Derek White, you can't be in the game. I can't have my best player not trust you with the ball. I would have made the substitution right then and there, and he
Derek
waited.
White struggled that game.
Yeah,
He
he did.
he didn't look the best. I expect him to play a little better come game two. Boston, I think they just have too many bodies to throw at Durant, and Brooklyn on vice versa. Just if Curry's not giving you, close to 20 points, I don't know what their chances are. The only thing I could see them maybe doing is punting on the Drummond thing and going completely small, right? You throw Brown and like with like Claxton or something like that, and or even go with another shooter. Who knows? Like
I would be getting Blake Griffin some minutes.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like playing Blake and kind of going 5 out and just letting your guys cook. Because at the end of the day, like as physical as you are with KD, like they still have Kyrie, and KD still he had not his best game, but he had moments down the stretch where he got it done. You know what I mean? Like so
And we have moments where you look like trash. You just got to keep it a buck.
yeah, 100%. But like
Oh,
even like on the play
got
where like
carried. We had a terrible game, and that man got carried by Kyrie. We just gonna keep it 100. That was a trash game by Kevin Durant. Because if he plays like a C+ game, they win that game.
he
23
should
points
have.
on 25 shots or whatever, and 6 turnovers. You got to help Kyrie out there. You got carried. So he knows it. He owned up to it. He lost that game for them. He lost that game.
Um so pretty much 2 games in to almost every series. After tomorrow will officially be 2 games in all the series. I kind of want to ask you, like, who do you see as kind of your finals bubbles teams right now? Like, who do you think are the teams that are actual contenders after 2 games in the playoffs?
I think preparation and opportunity. Those are going to be the two that meet up in the finals because what they equal is luck. And health is a real thing that I'm seeing this first round. We saw Devin Booker get hurt tonight.
I think that is the thing. Okay, let me rephrase my question. Who have you seen that are teams who are playing at that have the capability and have shown that they can play at a level that is high enough to match up with pretty much anybody in the league?
No one. I don't believe
Nobody.
either of these teams have played a complete game. That's just me. I believe there's been factors. If you look at the Minnesota and Memphis, Jaren Jackson not being out there for a game, and then the other team's best player not being out there in Cat. really changed things. Clint Capella being injured in the Miami and Atlanta series to me was huge. Clint Capella going down is a big factor. And Clint Capella is a point where I would have still probably taken Miami in 6, but now it could be Miami in 4. Like that's a 2. He impacts games like that with him and Trae Young. I look over in Brooklyn and Boston, and that was a phenomenal game in game 1. But the Boston Celtics, they didn't play the greatest game offensively. There was a lot to be desired there. They got bailed out because Tatum did not start off well at all, neither than Jaylen Brown. And KD had one of his worst playoff games that I've seen. So I'm looking around in the Philadelphia and Toronto series. I mean, that's not a series anymore. Like we got injuries. We still don't know what Harden and Embiid believes what they're gonna do. The Denver and the Warriors series, I can't even comment on that. That's a clown show. They're out there getting punked. So I still have yet to see, and it's unfortunate because, like I said, with tonight, we looked like we was having that game, and with New Orleans and Phoenix, we looked like we were having that game, and Booker got hurt. So I mean, I don't know, man. I need probably ask me maybe after the third round went by. I thought Milwaukee was very underwhelming against Chicago. Milwaukee looked like they were out there sleepwalking. I don't know what that was about. So I haven't really seen enough, if I'm being honest.
I don't dislike your answer at all because even with Phoenix, right, who is supposed to be that team, you could talk about the Booker injury, but past that, like their just transition defense was not championship level, tonight. Like we saw
Or last night, real quick, they were up by 20 points. They were up by 25 points, and the Pelicans came roaring back and made it a 6-point game. And then Chris Paul had to go God mode. Like they needed that 19 of 21 points that he went off for. They let them back in the game. So, to your point, they haven't been sharp for 4 straight quarters. We haven't seen a full game from the Suns yet.
Hopefully health does not come into play. I mean, like I'm really hoping we get a Luka sighting sooner than later.
Man, I didn't even mention that.
Booker,
that's a blow, by the way.
I hope he comes back, as quickly as possible. I even want to see Scotty Barnes out there. So I'm rooting for no injuries. I'm hoping it, everyone, there's going to be a lot of grimacing. There's a lot of games to be left here, but let's hope for nothing serious. All right.
No, like that's a real thing because we did take a blow. Let's just be real. We took a blow with not being able to have Luka in this first round. Like that sucks. He's one of the better playoff performers we have in the league. So that was a devastating blow. Hopefully Booker, those hamstring injuries, man, those are tough injuries. Those are really tough injuries to come back from. So, we're gonna see. But I want to ask you a question. I mean, we've been off for a while with this pod, and some news came out with Ben Simmons that they're expecting him to come back games 3, 4, 5. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know what I'm getting from Ben Simmons, man. Like what I see, like to me, with his skill set and the way the Nets are playing currently, are you getting like another, kind of like Bruce Brown role guy and you're coming off an epidural shot. Like how healthy is he? So what are you really getting from him? You're going to play him 8 minutes or whatever. So I don't know. I don't think it's much. I don't expect him to play. If he does, I would be surprised. And then if he does end up playing, not only would I be surprised, I just don't know what you're getting from him really.
So what do you think the percentages of then having a sighting in the series?
I think it's low, dude. I would say below 15%.
I think we're for sure going to see Ben Simmons in game 3. I think he's back already. I think they just want to see if they need to bring him back in this series, because if there's one series that you need him, it's this one. But this is the series I feel like could affect him, because we know Ime Udoka is foaming at the mouth to get this man out there defensively. Because
I gotta be honest, like if I'm Boston and Ben Simmons is playing, I am shacking him off the tip.
No,
hey man, you are in this series.
As soon as he comes out there. So me personally, I don't think they wanted to. Like if they kept winning games, let's just say it's crazy. But let's say, they won 4-0 and swept them. We never would have saw Ben Simmons. I don't think they want to, but the funny thing is if they see anybody in the playoffs outside of Philadelphia or Milwaukee, you do need Ben Simmons for his defense out there. So Ben Simmons, I believe, is back. I think we'll see him in game 3 or game 4 for the rest of the series. But it's going to be real interesting to see what Ime does because everybody and their mama wants to see what you just described, Scott. I don't care if it's the first quarter. I got bodies to throw at you. My 15th guy on the bench is going to come in and take 2 straight take fouls. Like, we're going to make you shoot 4
I'm putting your ass on the free throw line, bro. And like, and I'm glad that, like, good for him. You'd be out there and open about his mental health stuff. But like, I'm going to see what you got. Like, hey, man, you're in this series. Hit some free throws.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. I know his health physically has been put out there. I'm giving him an elbow in his back. That's just me. Like I told you this off camera, Scott. I don't care what anybody out there is saying. You ain't cheating, you ain't trying. All right, I stand by that. And it's not my responsibility that you're not healthy to keep you safe. That's not my job. Your training staff cleared you to come out here. My job is to compete. So don't come out here with a bad back. Like if I was Boston and I was on that coaching staff, I'd be like, these fools really think he can come out here a week off an epidural and play against us? Oh, no. He gonna have to go back to the doctor. Get his ass up out of here.
Yeah, I think we're seeing this the same way. I think the only thing I just learned is you won't catch me at the same card table as you.
No, absolutely. You don't want this. You don't want this work. You don't want this work.
Apparently you'd be like, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So
you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's not even cheating. But I would be injuring dudes out there. That's just me. I would really do it. Like if I found out that you have an injury, if I found out you got a sprained big toe and you jab with that toe, if it's good enough to jab, it's good enough for me. I'm gonna step on your foot. That's not bro. Come on now, Scott. You know this better than anybody. Winning is on the slimmest of margins. If your foot is healthy enough to jab step me offensively, then your foot is healthy enough for this size 13 on your sneaker. That's just me.
All right, man. I think we did a pretty good job wrapping this whole thing up. We'll see you guys pretty soon. Anything else you guys throw out there for the playoffs or any other storylines actually?
No, that's pretty much it. Just I second, your sentiments regarding health.
Yeah, definitely, man. We gotta stay healthy. All right, we'll catch up with you guys pretty soon. Probably closer to when this first round's about to wrap up or something like that. All right, we'll see you soon.